내가 오른쪽 손에 뭘 들고 있는지 맞춰볼래? Today I want to explain how to say whether and if in Korean. An English example of this would be, I don't know whether he'll be there, or I don't know if he'll be there. In this way, it's used for talking about things that are unknown. Here's the form we'll be using. Action verbs are verbs that do things. 먹다, to eat, 하다, to do, and 자다, to sleep, are just a few examples. 있다, to exist, and 없다, to not exist, are also action verbs. If you don't know how to conjugate the middle part, check out my video on conjugation. Descriptive verbs are verbs that describe things. 친절하다, to be friendly, 좋다, to be good, and 쉽다, to be easy, are just a few examples. 이다, to be, and 아니다, to not be, are also descriptive verbs. Many of the rules that apply when conjugating the yo form also apply here. For example, take the verb 춥다, to be cold. Remove the biup, then add an u, just like we would do when making the yo form. The present tense would therefore be 추운지, and the future tense would be 추울지. However, there are some verbs that don't follow these rules. In the future, I'll make a complete video on how to conjugate descriptive verbs, which will go over this in more detail. Also, you should know that there are a lot of action verbs and descriptive verbs that end with 하다, and you'll need to know what it means in order to know which one it is. For example, 심심하다, to be bored, is a descriptive verb, so in the present tense, it's 심심한지. But 공부하다, to study, is an action verb, which would be 공부하는지. Now let's get on to some examples. 저는 그가 거기에 있을지 몰라요. I don't know whether he will be there. We use 있을지 because we're talking about the future tense. Let's see what it would be in the past and present tense. 저는 그가 거기에 있는지 몰라요. I don't know whether he is there. 저는 그가 거기에 있었는지 몰라요. I don't know whether he was there. Here's some examples with descriptive verbs. 내일도 오늘처럼 더울지 궁금해요. I'm wondering if tomorrow will be hot too like today. Here, you wouldn't use the past or present tense because tomorrow is only in the future. 지금 철수가 바쁜지 알려주세요. Please tell me whether 철수 is busy now. 어제 그 시험이 어려웠는지 알고 싶어요. I want to know if that test yesterday was difficult. By adding another form, you can also say whether or not, just like in English. Let's take this sentence from before. 저는 그가 거기에 있을지 없을지 몰라요. I don't know whether or not he will be there. Here are the rules for or not. For action verbs, take the negative form of the verb, then conjugate it the same way as before. If you're not sure how to do that, check out my video on negative sentences. Adding 아니면, or, helps to separate the sentence into two parts and can make it a bit clearer. Descriptive verbs can also take the negative form of the verb, conjugated the same way as before. But you also have one more option. You can use the descriptive verb 아니다, to not be, instead. This would be 아닌지 in present tense, 아닐지 in future tense, and 아니었는지 in past tense. Here are a couple examples with action verbs. 동생이 올지, 안 올지 궁금하지 않아요? Aren't you curious whether or not your younger sibling will come? 그가 K-pop을 좋아하는지 안 좋아하는지 몰라요. I don't know whether he likes K-pop or not. And here are some examples with descriptive verbs. 내일도 오늘처럼 더울지 아니면 안 더울지 궁금해요. I'm wondering if tomorrow will be hot too like today or not. 지금 철수가 바쁜지 아닌지 알려주세요. Please tell me whether or not 철수 is busy now. 어제 그 시험이 어려웠는지 아니었는지 알고 싶어요. I want to know if the test yesterday was difficult or not. But wait, isn't there another word for to not like something? How about 싫어하다, to hate? Well, as long as it means the same thing as the negative form, you can use other verbs instead, and they'll actually sound better. The last sentence could also look like this. 그가 K-pop을 좋아하는지 싫어하는지 몰라요. I don't know whether he likes K-pop or hates it. Okay, so now you know how to say whether, if, and whether or not, but there are some other meanings this grammar form can have depending on how it's used. For example, 서울이 이렇게 추울지 알고 있었어요? Did you know that Seoul would be this cold? Although we use the same form, here there's no whether or if. This is because the form has another meaning, and that's for talking about things that are unknown. This meaning is similar though to whether and if, because in the sentence, I don't know whether he likes K-pop or hates it, you're also talking about something that is unknown, him liking K-pop or him hating K-pop. Because we're talking about things that are unknown, you'll often see this form used with words such as what, who, how, why, where, when, and how much. Here are some examples using each of those. 나는 뭐가 가장 쉬운지 알고 싶어요. I want to know what is the easiest. 누가 제일 똑똑했는지 맞춰보세요. Try to guess who was the smartest. 나는 네가 어떻게 했는지 궁금해. I'm curious how you did it. 그가 왜 그렇게 했는지 이해할 수 없어요. I can't understand why he did that. 어디서부터 시작해야 할지 고민이다. I'm worried where I'll have to start from. 세일 기간이 언제까지인지 아세요? Do you know when the sale period is until? 당신이 한국말을 어디서 배우고 있는지 가르쳐 주세요. Please tell me where you are learning Korean. Okay, one last thing. This same form also has a third meaning, and that's for saying how to, as in the sentence 나는 김치를 어떻게 만드는지 알고 있다. I know how to make kimchi. There are actually many different ways to say how to in Korean though, so instead of covering them now, I'll make a separate video later. Just be aware that you'll see this form used in that way as well. Like always, if you're still confused, watch the video again and try making your own sentences with what we've learned. 다음에 또 봐!
아 뭐야 너한테 주는 줄 알았어?